Corey Graves is back on NXT. Let's get into what happened on the show. As we start off with the NXT North America Championship match between Tony D'Angelo and Ridge Holland, and Izzy Dame gets involved, taking out Ridge Holland so that Tony picks up the victory, and now they are supposedly even. Are we seeing Izzy Dame in the family? And then we get Bayley coming out, running down Roxanne, making a couple short jokes. But she's actually interrupted by Julia, who talks about her admiration of Bayley. But then they are interrupted by Roxanne and Cora, who get booed so loud that you can barely hear them. Julia doing the pose far better than Hulk Hogan, by the way. And they end up brawling. There is going to be a match next week in Atlanta. Cora and Roxanne versus Bayley and Julia. That is going to be a fucking awesome match. Then we see Wesley making fun of Trick Williams for losing the NXT Championship. And Trick slaps the shit out of Wesley. Tyson and Tyreek don't do a thing about it. And if you thought I was lying, this is Wesley moments later. Wes would get the win over Dion Lennox, but now he wants a match next week against Trick. We would get Stephanie Vaquer in a very intense promo saying that if Shotzi wins, she's going to take Shotzi to hell, and Fallon won't be ready for Vaquer if she ends up beating Shotzi next week. We then get to the Heritage Cup match between Lexis King and Charlie Dempsey, and there's these brass knucks in the bucket that keep tempting Lexis King, but Lexis actually decides not to use them. Instead, Lexis kicks Charlie in the dick to get the win. He was never going to be a babyface. Bianca and Naomi are talking about their match next week against Lash and Jakara. We also see Chase U talking to Hank and Tank saying that they might as well break up because all tag teams break up. Notice Kalani in the back here. All of these little teases make me believe that Kalani's turning heel soon. But Andre Chase tells Kale Dixon once again that Chase U is dead. Kalani ends up getting involved in Carmen and Jada's match after Carmen and Jada had an altercation backstage. And Carmen gets the victory over Jada, and now it looks like we're going towards Jada and Kalani. Also, Sol Ruca and Zarya are trying to tell the Meta Girls how big of a match it is next week. And we have the family versus Nico and Brooks Jensen. Weirdly enough, Sean Spears is out there, but Tony isn't. And the numbers game ends up coming into play, and Brooks and Nico end up winning. Backstage, the family are pissed at Tony as he says that he was talking to Izzy, and they're blaming the loss on Tony. But Tony tells Stacks that he's been the underboss for 2 years. He should be able to handle this on his own. Maybe we're seeing Tony versus Stacks in the future. Fraxium talk about their excitement for the match this week on TNA against the Rascals. They get into it with Briggs and Inamura, and then Briggs and Inamura get into it with OTM. Javon still isn't cleared to face Ethan, but next week, Cedric is going to take his place to face Ethan. And Waller and Theory want to do the Grayson Waller effect next week with whoever wins in the main event. And we get to the main event with Obafemi defeating Eddie Thorpe, as we see A-Town Down Under talking shit to him while being live on Instagram. And then Oba would turn around to see Trick Williams, who then knocks out Eddie Thorpe. And Oba and Trick stand face to face as the show ends.